if it's not scary enough that mass delusion can be easily a thing, you know, delusion on a mass scale, and not a everybody scale, but too big at least. Individuals, you starts with crazy individuals being put on a pedestal by their fans and by themselves. And that's the case with Elon Musk, it's the case with Donald Trump, it's the case with many nutters out there who do nothing at all in line with what they're pretending to be. Elon Musk calls himself an engineer. Sure, he was some aerospace engineering, definitely. I'm sure he's got some engineering skills here and there. But who does the real engineering to produce his ideas or get somewhere close to his ideas is the engineers. The people who actually do the work. And it's interesting how he puts out there that's immoral for people to work from home when there's other people that have to be present, and it's just pompous. He says it's pompous and all this. Look, health and safety has always been a thing in the work environment, and the safety of other people. And sure, why not? It should be, right? And we're on the verge, with some technologies to have like a prototype out there of being able to be tuned into a robot. You wear a headset and you tune into that robot via internet connectivity or whatever. And now you can have like a VR headset and you move that robot. But that robot doesn't have to be present in the same building even. You could be doing your work schedule if this ever becomes much more advanced further down the line, and I'm sure it will, providing that we don't annihilate ourselves. It's something I've definitely talked about quite a bit during the just coming out, edging out of the nastier side of COVID. We didn't have to wear masks anymore, and you were able to go back to the workplace and all that. And that's another thing. It's that pandemics. Well, the side of the unfortunate side effects of the pandemic would have done better with technologies that you could use in your own home to do a production line factory job. And of course, there have to be rules in place. Don't have so many distractions in your own home. Have a room that alleviates away from distractions of you actually doing your job or whatever. If you're going to tune into a robot that actually does a job in a factory, yeah, that's possible. That can happen. But Elon Musk is so far up his own ass. You think, oh, work from home, that's disgusting, that's immoral. Where it's actually very much more moral and great for health and safety for multiple reasons, pandemic or no pandemic, disease or no disease. Actually, you could give the robot a set of instructions as you do this routine thing, and other routine things going on around the robot aid it to do the routine thing as well, just like a production line machine part. And you instigate those movements to start with, you unplug for the rest of the day, that's all going fine. Then you might get a phone call, so your robot's misplaced something, can you just reset to do the routine again or whatever. And for that day, you might have to be at home all day for phone calls and whatever, but you could still have your environment, your enjoyment of your own home when you can, any moment you can, and without any danger to you in a production environment, which can very often be with its problems in health and safety, but you know, even if you're really shit hot on the health and safety, there's always something that could be dangerous. You're lifting something really heavy, or a machine's lifting something really heavy, and something goes wrong with the machine and drops it, and somebody's underneath it, or hey presto, you got a squashed human, right? The engineer doesn't have altruistic engineering ideas and obsesses over the letter X and sniffing the ass of, metaphorically, kissing the ass of Donald Trump, you know, this Elon Musk. It's all about him. He's obsessed over this thing that he's obsessed with an idea that he wants you to believe that he's so altruistic that he actually cares. And it's a fantasy that he lives in order to bolster his competence. Again, I've talked about that a lot. Does that seem familiar? It sounds like narcissism. And it may seem like I'm actually talking about narcissists, like spotting them everywhere. So that's a narcissist, that's a narcissist, that's a narcissist. I hope not, because I'm actually picking those out that fit the bill. And definitely Elon Musk is one of them. His ideas in his fantasy world may be great, you know, in some ways. But it's combined with other ideas to produce a final product that is shit. I mean, look at the so-called Cybertruck. And he's so deluded, there he was on stage claiming that you couldn't break the windows, you could have a hammer thrown at it and it won't break, and somebody does that actually on stage and it breaks. I think it was a hammer or was some large object. It's known for its rust, all kinds of problems. Why would you buy something like that? That was so-called fancy electric vehicle that rust in the rain immediately. Yeah, it's not a step forward, that's actually a step backwards in technological progress. I mean, great. SpaceX has produced a rocket that does land and can get reused. A lot of money has been wasted to get there. A lot of resources have been wasted to get there. Shoves a car into space to go into orbit, then that's got to be massive ego tripping right there. Look what I can do, because I'm different, I'm amazing, I'm special. It's a special case, and anybody, you know, I used to think, oh, Elon Musk has got some of these ideas, you know, it sounds about right, it sounds reasonable, it sounds like good stuff. And then I see cracks appearing in the bigger picture, or look at the bigger picture and see the cracks then. They weren't appearing, they was always there. And more information I got as I trawled through, hang on a minute, this is not. I should have known anything that promises to be. And it seems very pessimistic and negative, perhaps, when I say anything that promises to be a particular way, is because it's not. But again, you've got to wonder, why is there a shouting off of trying so hard to convince people on a grander scale? You know, you might get a friend to say, oh, you do this, it's great, it's amazing. That's different. A friend who actually cares about their friend or family member, I think that's different. But an individual who's trying to give that big promise on a bigger scale, come follow me, you'll get a better way, and all this, it's just a snake oil salesman. Because if it was so damn great, everybody would end up knowing quietly and just go and do it anyway. And that's always happened. Betterment and progressive things, that is genuinely progressive, I've never really been shouted from the rooftops. It's always been a grassroots kind of grow, or we do it this, and other people get involved. Maybe a big company gets involved here and there, and eventually, before you know it, everyone's doing it, right? Kind of like how mobile phones evolved, really. Yeah, but then you get the ones that promise to be more fancier down the line, from individual companies. Say, no, don't buy Samsung's phone, buy this Nokia phone. We're Nokia, ours is better than Samsung, and vice versa, because it's self-interest. I think it's about time society woke the fuck up and realised these red flags, the over boasting, the over the top capitalism. You get one of these, change your life kind of mentality. I hope to think that in an ideal world they're starting to lose out with this excessive bullshittery because people are wising up. But then I look at America, that is excessively dumbed down so that these companies can get a quick win on capitalism because they want people to be addicted and keep consuming. But Elon Musk, yeah, he did well in America because he's just another self-interested asswipe who has multiple companies and none of them feel like they've done anything that's finished. You know, all these projects that are just all half-baked ideas. Maybe SpaceX is much more less half-baked, but you know, what happened to the Boring Company? What happened to that? And what happened with so many other things? There's problems with Neuralink, which I was looking into Neuralink again during the lockdown days of COVID and thinking, well, this is pretty cool, actually. I think it is cool, the idea and everything behind it. But again, just like Tesla cars, he wanted you to believe that nobody's doing this. Nobody's ever done anything like this before. Then you look at around the world, there's other technologies like Neuralink have been doing their own thing quietly, not boasting in your face that this is amazing. And they had some issues immediately. There's too much passing control as well, I think, with testing on that. And it's just like, it's always a deadline that is unrealistic from Musk as well. And he kind of seems to be proud of that. It's like, you're known, so it's in an interview I saw, it's like, so you're known for unrealistic deadlines, you're in this, and yeah, unrealistic deadlines and unrealistic expectation of his employees as well. Pushing and pushing and pushing. This man is obsessed. He's deluded and obsessed with a self-image, obsessed with the letter X, wanted to call his daughter XA, I think, however you pronounce it. Nobody really knew. But it was letter X with some other letters after it. He wanted to call PayPal X because he was involved with that. Go figure, that's a bag of crap, actually. PayPal is like, it's not really that good, is it? There's always issues with PayPal. Eventually, somewhere along the line, you're going to have an issue with it if you've used it a lot. Yeah. So there's that, and he wants this app out there, X app, that everything comes through your finances, everything. That's another one of his fantasies that are never going to work because he wants to own it all. He wants it to be Planet Musk kind of idea. It's just like, fuck you, you dick. You're just another human, just another primate tripping out on ideas here and there like we all are. We all trip ourselves out on this side. Wow. It's like we don't have enough self-control to consider staying grounded for long enough, and you get ideas above our station too often, particularly, I mean, not everybody's like that, but there's different levels of it. I would say even myself, these ideas I've had is like, hang on a minute, ease back, this is above your pay grade or above your expertise, and then just stay back grounded once more and build on what I've already got again. But those who don't build on what they've already got and fantasize that they're already there, narcissism again. And I've mentioned it many times. I really should do a better, a deeper dive into this now. I'm past that point thinking, looking to psychology a little bit more. But Elon Musk is just cuckoo. I mean, it's just absolutely pathetic. But I do wonder how many Musk fans now think he's just not worth their time after him just sucking up to Trump. Like, Musk wants a dictatorship. Mr. Altruistic seems to want to support an individual that wants a dictatorship, but it's going to guarantee to go wrong, because when a narcissist and another narcissist get together, they immediately appeal to each other's ego, so they get on like a house on fire initially, but as soon as they discover they got only their own best interest at heart, and those best interests clash with each other, it has to be all about that one individual, or it has to be all about the other narcissist. That's when they end up absolutely hating each other. So it can be like one extreme to the other. It starts really great and turns bad very quickly. Wait and see. Musk and Trump, I guess there may be some leaks actually of it already happening, but you wait and see. Musk is going to be bitching about Trump left, right, and center, and vice versa. Prediction. And I put these predictions out before, like I've said, a certain individual will talk about themselves in the third person. I called it. It was correct. I think because, there's theories out there, and it's some of it's borrowed, some of it's concluded, some of it's where I think a particular individual's going matches something else. I come to a conclusion, and I do enjoy, of course, being right. I enjoy ability to correct where I might be wrong as well, if people can tell me, hey, I think you're wrong because of this and that. I am not an expert. I'm not a body language expert, but I'm trying to learn about body language. I'm not a psychologist. I was going to say psychologist, but a psychologist, a shrinkologist. I'm not a shrinkologist. Or I might be, because I got a jar of pickles in the cupboard. That's different. I'm off on one. It really is pathetic, though, isn't it? It's just so much out there in today's world promises to be something, because it's not. Excessively so. Companies that claim they're listed, and they are listed by other things going on as to be the best company to work for, 10th place, 9th place, whatever. It's not really. I mean, you're guaranteed to get individuals working for them. You can see multiple errors within the company, whoever they work for, and it never gets addressed, those issues. But they end up being, I've seen it a lot, how companies end up being listed, and it's all kind of closed off in its own little bubble, really. It's not addressing a bigger picture, and you see reviews about certain companies and people who have worked for them, and they're bitching left, right, center about them. But then you get certain managers of doing great within a said company, and they think it's great, but they get brainwashed. Managers, wherever I've worked, tend to be so puppeteered with ideas installed in their head that they're a slave to. It's because that's what company really wants. They want they go on the good PR front end, whether they're great or not, I guess. And managers like that are ideal. Managers come and go. It's a upside down, inside out, backward world. It really is. It's just so horrendously backward. Definitely for America, and people have said it across the world actually, but Americans are always taught, like, just because you got a president, they're always taught, like, oh, that president is now the most powerful person in the world. No, they're not. Not even close. Maybe corruption that put them there in the first place is more powerful. But powerful doesn't mean good. It just means you got a lot of control, right? Yeah. I think there's a swamp and a deep state that needed to be drained or whatever. No, it was just growing and being more installed. And then January comes around next year. You got this orange weirdo as president. it's interesting to see how that is already falling apart, even though he's not president yet. Yeah. Of course, Trump started off with great promise, but never telling you how. Anything that's great promise is because it's not. I mean, it started off with great promising emotional talk, but it became more and more emotional, vitriolic then as well, and smear campaigning, and really weird ideas, weird stories, misogynistic, hateful, incredibly narcissistic. He talked about himself in the third person as well. There we go. Yes, it's definitely a red flag. You might get somebody like taking a piss out of themselves, taking a mick out of themselves, saying, "Oh, maybe if I woke up this morning really groggy, like, oh, Jack's a bit tired this morning," taking a mick, but taking yourself more seriously with third person talk, that's a red flag. You know, just it is something to look for. A number of other things. Actually, I should do a video on red flag, a list of red flags that you could look out for, just in case someone's a bit cuckoo in the head, right? Yeah. Anyway, point is, Elon Musk, wait and see. A number of points about Elon Musk, really, but just wait and see. It's like Trump and Elon are going to be sworn, they make themselves sworn enemies towards each other. They really will. And Musk will then try to claim that he wants to be like vice president or even president, perhaps. Possibly. I don't know if that's an absolute. I'm saying it as if it is, but what I'm trying to say is that would not surprise me one bit. It's not fair you having to go, you're not worthy enough, put me in your place. You're doing it all wrong kind of mentality. Not what we agreed to, yada yada. Right? Wait and see. We'll see if I'm wrong, and see how that plays out. Because, these weird individuals are very random. But anything else that they latch onto that feeds that ego, maybe they just be sidetracked with something else and they forget entirely about one thing or the other. But do you really think Trump's going to forget entirely about his obsession with being president? And it is an obsession because he's obsessed with being a dictator. Doesn't look that good for dictators right across the planet, actually, let alone Putin and Trump himself, right? It doesn't look that good. Looks like they're falling apart and people just won't stand for it. People will be willing to die before it gets to the point where thousands would die because of dictatorship, and thousands are dying because of dictatorship. People are cannon fodder, if you will, or weapon fodder. Putin's like, I'll grab some North Koreans and chuck them in there, and to weaken Ukraine a bit more cannon, more, just line them up. Yeah. Russians themselves. You get all this news media saying Russia is doing this, no, it's not. Putin's doing this, doing that. The Russians, more and more exponentially, they've had enough. They had enough from day one, really, but nobody was speaking up because they wanted to preserve what they had. Now they got next to nothing compared to what they had. It's falling apart because narcissists will never stop. Self-destruction, well, it may as well take everyone else down with you anyway. They don't have a right to be better than you, so you drag them down with them. That's narcissism for you. It poisons everything. If you're entrapped by a narcissist, research and do what you can to piss them off so that they actually fuck off or just escape while you can. I'm serious. Escape while you can, because you will be ruined as an individual. You'll become an empty shell of your former potential self. Yeah. Definitely. Thank you for watching. Take care. I look forward to doing another video soon. I hope you're well and things are going well for you, whatever you're doing, particularly if you're not a narcissist. And yeah, what do you, one more time, what do you think about robots being tuned into to do your work in a factory, but you just wear a headset in your comfort of your own home and you get the work done? Of course, there have to be rules around that, but I think that's a possible future with some technologies and workplace environments out there. Am I crazy? Possibly. Dunno. Bye.